live for this particular season. The reason is that I'm gonna leave home today, and I'm afraid that I won't be able to upload them predictions if I would wait until I get back. Okay. So again, we would be discussing 9 games for this particular live session. Hold up, that's 9 games, and that's for November 14 and 2025 NBA game date. Okay. Okay, let's kick things off. But before we do that, I'm inviting everyone, for those who have not yet subscribed to our YouTube account or YouTube page, Pasay Baller. Please click on the subscribe button below. At the same time, hit on that bell logo. That way, automatically, you guys will be receiving notifications whenever new videos are uploaded. Okay. All right. So the first game, it'll be Miami Heat with the record of 7 wins and 5 losses, going up against the New York Knicks with a record of 7 wins and 4. That'll be a battle of Eastern Conference teams. The New York Knicks, they are at number 2 in the Eastern ranking, while Miami Heat, they are at number 8. Both teams are actually doing good. As you can see, the New York Knicks, they are just ahead by half a game against Miami Heat. The spread, by the way, that is given is -4.5. That's given towards the New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks would have the home court advantage on this, as the game will be in Madison Square Garden. Now, if we're going to talk about momentum, both teams are actually coming off losses. But if you take, just like what I said, both teams have been winning lately. But if I have to pick a team who's got some advantage in terms of momentum, I gotta pick the New York Knicks, because again, they are number 2 in the East. At the same time, they are at home. Now, in terms of fatigue, well, both teams are coming off rest. Let's just forget that part. Let's skip that one. And in terms of health, here we go. Now we would have something to talk about. Hold up. In terms of health, the Knicks would be missing their main guy. And who's that main guy? Obviously, that's Brunson. But let me see. It's not just Brunson who's actually out for the Knicks. Hold up. I'm actually using my phone for this live shit. And I'm using my laptop for the data gathering. So, let me sorry about this. Not really used to this live streaming and all that. Okay, for the New York Knicks, I can see a couple of players who would be out for them. Jalen Brunson is actually out for the game this Friday against Miami, and Kevin McCullough. You know what? McCullough is actually listed as a game time decision, so there's this possibility that he would play, especially that Brunson will be out, and McCullough is also playing the guard position, so there's a possibility. Now for Miami Heat, I can see 3 players confirmed out for them, and these 3 are very valuable. We're talking about Terry Rozier. Well, we all know what the issue with Terry Rozier is. Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. Now those 2 alone, Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, those 2 can average like 40 or 45 points a night. So this one's gonna hurt Miami. I know Brunson would be a huge loss for the Knicks, but I'm gonna say that the Knicks still has a bit of an advantage over Miami Heat, considering the fact that there are 3 players that Miami would be missing. Okay, this one's gonna be tricky, because -4.5 plus the Knicks just lost, but if you take a look at it, the Heat just lost too, and the Heat just lost against the. Sorry about my AC. And the Knicks, the Heat just lost against the Cavs, who just played their second unit towards the end part of that game. So that's a bit of a head scratcher as well. Sorry about that, but going back, the Knicks, they will be at home, and just like what I said, the Knicks, they are just very tough to handle whenever they are at home. That loss that they had last time, that's their first loss in Madison Square Garden, and it's just hard to imagine that they would have back-to-back losses at home. Plus, again, the Heat would still be missing the services of Bam Adebayo and Karl Anthony Towns, and OG Anunoby should have a feast inside the paint. So our pick on this would be the New York Knicks minus 4.5. All right, so now let's get into the second game. By the way, for those who are interested to avail our premium picks or best picks, you can just reach us through Messenger, Viber, Telegram. We have lots of ways to be reached on. They are actually presented down there. Just check out, and we will be responding to y'all as soon as we see your messages. And we actually give huge discounts for those who would be availing our subscription for the entire season. All right. Now let's get into the second game. The game will be between. Hold up. What's going on with my? Sorry about this. My laptop. This one is another Eastern Conference matchup, and this one is between Brooklyn Nets. They got a record of 1 win and 10 losses, going up against Orlando Magic with the record of 6 wins and 6 losses. The game, by the way, will be at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, so that's going to be 8 o'clock a.m. here in Manila. Now, the Orlando Magic, they are number 10 in the Eastern Conference, and the Brooklyn Nets, they are at number 13 in the Eastern Conference as well. So let's take a look at the breakdown of this particular matchup. The spread, by the way, that is given is minus 14.5. Wow. Minus 14.5, that's given towards Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic, they'll be enjoying the home court advantage on this. Both teams are coming off rest. Let's skip that fatigue talk. Momentum, it should be towards Orlando Magic because they are coming off that huge win that they had. And as we all know, Brooklyn Nets, wow. Brooklyn Nets, they have been losing, 1 win and 10 losses. Let's go ahead and take a look at health and availability. For Brooklyn Nets, I see 3 players in their injury list. Cam Thomas and Haywood Highsmith are both listed out, while Day'Ron Sharpe is listed as game time decision, to be specific, probable. So there's this possibility that he would be playing. Now for Orlando Magic, I see 2 players who are confirmed not playing for this particular game. One of their bigs, Moritz Wagner, is still not playing, and the other one is Paolo Banchero, arguably their best player and scorer. So, this one's gonna be tricky, huh? But yeah, I'm on the side with Brooklyn Nets in here with the plus 14.5. I think the Magic will win this one, especially they are at home. Especially they are having some momentum approaching this game. The Magic has been winning. But Brooklyn Nets, they have been trying. They have been trying, although they're not able to convert those efforts into wins. 14.5 is something that I guess they could cover, especially Paolo Banchero will be out. Okay, so my pick on this one would be Brooklyn Nets plus 14.5. Okay, so let's move on to the third game. We have 9 games again for today. The third game, it will be, this one's gonna be great. Philadelphia 76ers with a record of 7 wins and 4 losses, and they are going up against the number 1 team in the East, and that's Detroit Pistons. Who could imagine, right? Pistons versus Sixers. This is a good game. This is a battle of number 1 versus number 3 in the Eastern Conference. Now, the spread that is given here is minus 5.5. That's given towards the number 1 team, Detroit Pistons. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's try to break it down little by little. Detroit Pistons, they would be having the home court advantage. In terms of momentum, I guess that's quite obvious. We have to give that to the number 1 team who's got 10 wins already, Detroit Pistons. Now, in terms of fatigue, well, both teams are coming off rest. Again, let's just skip that part. Let's go ahead and take a look at health and availability, all right? So let's take a look at Philadelphia. For Philadelphia, they won't be having Paul George still, and they won't be having Joel Embiid too. So two players are confirmed out, and their super rookie VJ Edgecomb is actually listed as questionable for this particular matchup. Hey, what's up, Brian? Um, okay, now going back. Thanks a lot, bro. Thanks a lot, bro. Um, let's take a look at Detroit. Wow, this is quite a list. I see seven players, seven names in Detroit's injury list: Isaiah Stewart, Oscar Thompson, Tobias Harris, Marcus Sasser, Jaden Ivey. All those five are listed out, and we have Cade Cunningham. Wow, Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duran, both listed as game time decision. So yeah, that one's gonna be tough if ever Cade won't be playing, or if ever Durant won't be playing. That will be a huge blow towards Detroit. But um, it has been like that for Durant and Cunningham's status. If you take a look at injury list, they've been there, but they have been playing. Although we can see that they've been exhausted in some of their games. Cade Cunningham, he's been trying his best, and he is very successful. He has been very successful, but they're coming off rest, so I'm assuming that these two players would actually play. I don't want to overthink stuff, but I just won't go against the number one team, in the Eastern Conference, and again, that's Detroit Pistons. I know there's a lot of what ifs. What if Jalen Duran would play? What if Cade Cunningham would play? Now that's the question. What if they would play, right? And they, again, Detroit is at home. Detroit has been figuring things out, and again, mind you, Sixers, they are also missing the services of Embiid. So just in the snap of a finger, if Durant would be playing, Philadelphia would really have a hard time to contain Detroit's big boy. That's Jalen Durant. So my pick on this one, I know it's a bit tough considering Detroit's health status, but I've been taking my hats off to them. I'm gonna side with Detroit with minus 5.5. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next game. This one is a battle of Western Conference teams. Portland Trail Blazers with a record of 6 wins and 5 losses. They are going up against Houston Rockets with the record of 7 wins and 3. This is a very interesting matchup, because both teams have been winning. Both teams are above 500%. Um, this is gonna be at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, so that's gonna be 9 o'clock a.m. here in Manila. The spread, by the way, that is given is minus 8.5, and that's given towards Houston Rockets. Okay, so let's talk about this. Houston Rockets, they'll be enjoying the home court advantage on this. In terms of fatigue, both teams are coming off rest. In terms of momentum, well, both teams are actually doing good. But I have to say that Houston Rockets would have the advantage in terms of momentum. So I have to say that Houston has some sort of advantage over the other. That's Portland. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at health and availability. This one's more interesting, and let's take a look at Houston. Well, for Houston, it's been the same story. Finney Smith and Van Vliet, they are both out and will still be out, and we don't know when. So those two have been out. And for Portland Trail Blazers, I see 4 players in here: Damian Lillard, Thibault, Blake Wesley, and Scoot Henderson. All 4 are listed out for this particular matchup. So in terms of health and availability, obviously Houston has the advantage on it, because those 2 players that they've been missing, they have been missing ever since day one of the season. And as you can see, Houston has been very successful, even so. All right, the spread though is 8.5. This is gonna be tricky. Again, Houston has been doing good. Houston is at home. I feel like Houston will win this game, but the 8.5 spread, I'm not really comfortable going against the Portland Trail Blazers with that kind of spread, especially we've seen how Portland, how Portland is whenever they're doing their best. Portland is one of those teams who would love to run and who are very efficient and effective whenever they run. And Houston's size would go against them if ever Portland would be able to indeed run on this particular game. So again, highly likely Houston will win this one, but I feel like Portland Trailblazers would still be able to cover the spread because it's 8.5. Portland Trailblazers, they just don't stop playing until they're one of those teams, trying to prove to the entire league, trying to prove to the entire world that they belong. So they don't stop until the last buzzer. So I think they should be able to cover this. My pick, Portland Trailblazers plus 8.5. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next game. This one is an Eastern Conference game. Also very interesting because this is going to be their second game out of like 3 nights. Um, Charlotte Hornets with a record of 4 wins and 7 losses would go up against Milwaukee Bucks with a record of 7 wins and 5. The game will be at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, so that's going to be 9 o'clock a.m. here in Manila. And again, I am inviting everyone. For those who are interested to avail our premium picks or best picks, just reach us to us. The information are presented below. You can reach us through Messenger, Viber, Telegram, etc., etc. And again, please subscribe to this particular YouTube channel. All right, so on this particular matchup, the spread that is given is minus 10.5. That's given towards Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks, they will be enjoying the home court advantage on this. In terms of momentum, though, would you believe it? Charlotte Hornets, I have to say, would have the momentum because they just defeated Milwaukee Bucks like a couple of nights back, right? You remember that? They actually won by, I don't know if my memory serves me right, but I think it was like an 11-point win. It was a convincing win by the Hornets. So they have the momentum in terms of, they have the advantage in terms of momentum. Now, in terms of fatigue, well, again, both teams are coming off rest. Now, let's just go ahead and take a look at health. Now, Charlotte Hornets, they're one of those teams wherein their injury list looks like a list of my assignment when I was way back when I was in grade school. It's long. Wow. Their big rookie, Carl Grenier, Grant Williams, Josh Green, and Brandon Miller are all out for this particular game. All right. Now I can see here McNeely listed as questionable, and we have KJ Simpson and LaMelo Ball listed as probable. So those are the two probable players that they have. But man, this is a long list in their injury list. Now let's take a look at Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks, they have a shorter list. A couple of players are still out. Those are Kevin Porter Jr. and Taurean Prince. And they have their Superman, Giannis Antetokounmpo, listed as probable for this particular matchup. And I think we all know what's going to happen. And we all know what Giannis has in mind if ever he would be playing on this revenge, vengeance. Especially with what happened a couple of nights back when Charlotte actually, defeated them. Again, reminder, the game will be in Milwaukee, so they have the crowd. Highly likely they would have Giannis back. And again, so hard to beat the same team back to back. So I think Milwaukee would win this one. The question here is, would they be able to cover the spread? The spread is a bit big, 10.5. I'm looking at the possibility of LaMelo Ball playing, and I'm like, can they cover the spread? And that's gonna be tough to answer. They defeated Bucks by 11 points. Now Bucks would be having highly likely Giannis back. This one's a bit tricky. I'm not really excited to put money on this, but of course I have to give my prediction on this. I'm gonna side with Charlotte Hornets with the plus 10.5. I think Milwaukee would win, but the 10.5 spread, I guess, is big enough for me to side with Charlotte, especially with the possibility of LaMelo playing for them. All right, so let's move on We have 3 more games left. And the next one, it will be between Sacramento Kings with a record of 3 wins and 9 losses going up against Minnesota Timberwolves. And this one is at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be 9 o'clock a.m. here in Manila. Wow, what's going on with Sacramento? Yeah, I just want to say that, Minnesota Timberwolves, they would have the home court advantage on this, all right? In terms of momentum, that's quite obvious. We have to give that to Minnesota. And whatever's going on with Sacramento Kings, I don't know. In terms of fatigue, well, both teams are coming off rest. We can also just skip that part. So let's just go ahead and take a look at health and availability. For Minnesota Timberwolves, they only have 1 player out, and that's Terrence Shannon Jr. While for Sacramento, Keegan Murray is still out, while we have Domantas Sabonis and Malik Monk both listed as questionable. Wow. I really don't know what's going on with Sacramento Kings. I love the Kings, to be honest, but they have been losing. Going up against the Wolves, the spread is minus 8.5. Normally, I would not side with anyone against the Kings with that kind of spread, but man, the Kings, they have just been losing, and I don't know if those players that I mentioned would even play for them. Sabonis, Monk, are you serious, man? If Sabonis would not play, they'll be killed inside the paint by the Wolves. The Wolves, they are looking sharp, especially when they got Anthony Edwards back. So I'm gonna side with Wolves in this matchup with the minus 8.5 spread. Again, that's Minnesota Timberwolves minus 8.5. No more overthinking. All right, so let's move on to the next game. Again, for those who haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube page, please click on the subscribe button, all right? All right, so this is another Western Conference matchup, and this one is between... Is this correct? All right, here we go. Los Angeles Lakers with a record of 8 wins and 4 losses, going up against New Orleans Pelicans with a record of 2 wins and 9. This one is going to be at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, so that's going to be 9 o'clock a.m. here in Manila. Let's take a look at the spread. The spread that is given, by the way, is minus 10.5, and that's given towards Los Angeles Lakers. Now, New Orleans Pelicans, they will be enjoying the home court advantage on this. In terms of fatigue, well, both teams are coming off rest. Let's skip that part. In terms of momentum, well, both teams are coming off losses, but considering how Los Angeles Lakers have played, lately, I have to say that Los Angeles Lakers should have, the advantage on this particular category. Now, let's take a look at health and availability. Let's take a look first at Los Angeles Lakers. I've checked on this, and yes, there are still 3 players out for them. Of course, LeBron James, Adu Thiero, and Gabe Vincent. Again, 3 players are still out for the Lakers. Now, let's take a look at New Orleans Pelicans. There are also 3 players. The difference is these 3 players are Zion Williamson, Jordan Poole, and DeJounte Murray. Those are the top 3 players of New Orleans Pelicans. And those 3, if you add them all up, they would average... Hey, what's up, Rel? Mr. Rel. Those 3 would average, I don't know, around 70, maybe 75 points a game. We're talking about Zion Williamson, Jordan Poole, DeJounte Murray. Man, oh man. So, yeah, obviously health would be on Los Angeles Lakers' side. Woo! 10.5. This one's tricky, I have to admit. New Orleans Pelicans, they are at home. New Orleans Pelicans, they have been, considering the lineup that they have, considering that they are missing those top 3 players of theirs, it's good to see them. It's good to see them fight. Their last game that was against Portland Trail Blazers, at the half they were even up. They lost against Portland by just 8 points. I mean, for other teams, if they wouldn't have their top 3 players, they would be killed by 15 points, 20 points perhaps. But this New Orleans Pelicans have been showing grit, have been showing hustle, thanks to Queens. You know, one of their big young guys. Um, they are at home. 10.5. Wow, I'm torn. I'm torn which to side. Uh, I'm gonna side with New Orleans Pelicans in here. I mean, they are at home. Plus the 10.5 spread, I guess, is something that they can cover. I'm pretty sure that Los Angeles Lakers would take home the W, especially with Luca, Preston, Austin Reeves, and all that. Austin Reeves is actually playing crazy for this particular season. Hey, thanks, Althea. Hey, yeah, what's up, Althea? But the 10.5 spread is something I'm not comfortable of going up against New Orleans, especially that New Orleans, they are at home. Okay? All right, so let's move on to so my pick on that one, again, that's New Orleans Pelicans plus 10.5. Again, for those who are interested to avail our premium picks or best picks, just reach out to us, Messenger, Viber, Telegram. You have the information that are presented below. Okay, let's move on to the next game. This will be Golden State Warriors. This is going to be very interesting. I watched this a couple of nights back. Golden State Warriors, they got a record of 7 wins and 6 losses, going up against San Antonio Spurs with a record of 8 wins and 3. This one will be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so that's going to be 10:30 a.m. here in Manila. Okay, this is going to be interesting. The spread, by the way, that is given, minus 2.5. That's given towards whom? San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs, they are having the home court advantage. In terms of momentum, though, I'm gonna give it to Golden State Warriors. We saw what happened when they went up against San Antonio a couple of nights back. They actually beat the Spurs by 5 points, 125-120. Now, in terms of fatigue, both teams are coming off rest. Let's skip that part, though. Let's go ahead and take a look at health and availability. Now, for health and availability, let's take a look at Golden State. Well, you know what? 2 players are confirmed out. Tuhi and the Anthony Melton. And Jonathan Kuminga is still listed as questionable. So that has to hurt Golden State Warriors. Especially that we all know San Antonio Spurs got this super big. That's Wemby. Now let's take a look at San Antonio. For San Antonio Spurs, they only have 1 player who's out. This is a Filipino-American guy. I'm proud of you, Dylan Harper. But again, he ain't playing for this particular game. I have to say that San Antonio Spurs, they would have a slight advantage over Golden State in terms of health and availability, as they only have 1 player out for them. Okay, normally again I would not go against the team who just lost their previous battle and this kind of game. They would be playing 2 games in 3 nights. And again, the Golden State Warriors just defeated the Spurs 125-120. This is revenge time for San Antonio Spurs, and I know they will try to do that, but I don't know. I'm looking at Golden State Warriors. I'm seeing Curry. I'm seeing Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Seems like they are having this personal talk. We're not gonna let San Antonio win. Of course, that's not that easy to do. Wembanyama is an alien. Wembanyama is a superstar. But as you can see, those 3 are veterans. Those 3 know what has to be done, and they were successful in that first game. I'm not saying that they would be able to win again, but I think they should be able to at least keep this one close. And the 2.5 spread, I think I'm gonna get that. I won't even be surprised if Golden State Warriors would win this one outright. Again, especially with Chef Curry's on a roll. Chef Curry has been has been hot. Simply put. So I'm gonna roll with Golden State Warriors still with the plus 2.5. I'm gonna take that plus. We're talking about money in here, so we're just gonna have to have like safety net and all that. So again, our pick on this would be Golden State Warriors plus 2.5. Okay. Let's go. This is gonna be the last game. All right. This is Los Angeles Clippers with a record of 3 wins and 8 losses. Another question mark for me. Clippers, 3 wins and 8. Wow. Going up against Dallas Mavericks with a record of 3 wins and 9. I mean, I understand Dallas's situation, but I don't understand Clippers. All right. Clippers, they're just ahead by half a game over this Dallas Mavericks team. Wow. All right. So, sorry about that. Sorry about the emotions. All right. So, Dallas Mavericks, they would be having the home court advantage on this. In terms of fatigue, both teams are coming off rest. In terms of momentum, I have to give that one to Dallas. I have to give that one to Dallas. They're both losing, but if I have to pick one, I'm gonna side with Dallas. Let's go ahead and take a look at health and availability. All right, so let's start with Dallas Mavericks. For Dallas Mavericks, I can see 4 players confirmed out. Nah, 3. Hold up. I'm looking at the ESPN site. Okay, here we go. 2 players are confirmed out, Dante Exum and Kyrie Irving. Now, 3 players are listed as questionable for Dallas, and those are Anthony Davis, PJ Washington, and Derek Lively. All right, so there you go. Now, for the Clippers, we have 2 players confirmed out. Bradley Beal, that's a season-ending surgery on his hip, sadly. And then Kawhi Leonard. So 2 players, 2 players are out for the Clippers, while for Dallas they have 5 players in the injury list. What's going on with these 2 teams? Lag Cavs. Yeah, man, I told y'all that to put money on Toronto, right? So sabi sa'yo. Anyway, bawi na lang bukas pa. Alright, so sorry about that. I'm speaking in our Tagalog language with one of our kababayan here. So let me just go ahead and just make sure that we'd be having the correct spread with the Clippers versus Mavs game, because this is very confusing. Both teams have been looking like college teams. Sorry for those Clippers and Dallas fans. Man, they just don't look good. Hold up. What's the spread? It's -4, and it's siding towards the Clips. Okay. -4 towards the Clippers. Dallas Mavericks, they will be at home, and there's a possibility that Davis may play. We just don't know. I'm siding with the Clippers on this. I know -4 is a bit big, especially that they are on a roll, but I just would want to side with a team who's got more experience, who's got more capability. I'm talking about James Harden. James Harden, at the end of the day, is James Harden. Plus he's got those additional vets, those bigs who can help them. As you can see, at one point in that game against Denver Nuggets, they actually looked good. But Denver's Denver. This is going to be a different team. They're going up against a young Dallas squad who is banged up by lots of injuries. So I think this is going to be a perfect opportunity for the Los Angeles Clippers to actually notch a win. And not only that, considering that the spread is at -4, I think they can actually cover that. So my pick on this one would be Los Angeles Clippers -4. So those are the predictions that we have for today. I'm just again inviting everyone, for those who have not yet subscribed to our YouTube account, just please subscribe on it. Click on that button. And for those who are interested to avail our premium picks, just go ahead and hit us a message. We'll respond back to y'all as soon as we see them. That's all. Enjoy the day, enjoy the night, wherever you guys are at. Peace out, pass your love, and God bless.